Until you value yourself, you won't value your time. Hey everyone, welcome to a Coffee Chat with Danny, where we are live every Monday, 8:15-ish, bringing you tips, tools, and inspiration to help you get started this week. So, it's Monday. It's a Monday motivation. And what does that mean? That means it is time to kick off our week. No pun intended. All right. So if you are feeling like, hey, what's going on this week? I'm not ready for it, then you're in the right place. Because today we are talking about valuing yourself and valuing your time. I see a lot of people struggle with this, and so I thought I'd bring this to you today as we are in Love Month, when we are talking all about self-love. The most important relationship that you can have is with yourself. All right, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Danny. How's it going? I am an NLP practitioner that helps lady bosses get all the things together so that they can have the life and the business that they absolutely love. So get your coffee, tea, water, whatever you're drinking. I've got coffee already. I've already had my protein shake for the day. So let's get started. Number one, most important thing that I want you to realize as we think about this quote: until you value yourself, you won't value your time. Time is precious, right? If we think about time, some of us have had lots of time on this earth. Some of us have only had a short amount of time on this earth. And we don't know when our time here is over. I know that kind of is a little morbid. We don't know. So the time that we do have is very precious. It's very valuable, right? If you think about, something can happen in the blink of an eye that could change everything for you. So what you can do now, you might not be able to do 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, right? You might not. And so time is so precious. The other thing is when you're thinking about doing stuff, right? If you're thinking about starting a business or growing a business or expanding a business, making an impact in the world in some way, there's things that you have to do, right? I remember when I was starting one of my first businesses, official businesses, because I was an entrepreneur growing up. I had tons. I would make things. I'm very crafty. So I would make things and sell them at my mom's school, or, in the teacher's lounge, or I'd send them off to her to be my saleswoman. I was always selling things. It's just something that I loved to do. And when I started my very first online business, one of the things that I found, I was still working in my 9-to-5 job, and I had, this business on the side, and time was certainly very precious, right? I had so many things that I had to do during the day, but I also had other commitments, and I also felt compelled to attend all these different things that I had done before. Something, for those of you that are building a business or that have thought about building a business or in the process, right? Maybe you have that idea and you're still working everything out. You know that it takes a lot of time, right? And I think in some cases it stops us from even starting our businesses, right? Because we think like it's going to take up so much time. Anytime you add something new into your life, there's a shift that has to happen, right? The normal routine that you used to have can no longer be, right? It has to adjust to incorporate whatever this new thing is, whether it's, a new dog, a new puppy, or, maybe you're having an addition to the family, maybe a child, maybe, something is transitioning out, right? Maybe a child's going away to school now, and so you don't have that child in your home anymore. Or there's a new relationship, right? And so you're, working on this new relationship with somebody, right? There's all these transitions that we have. And when we do that, we have to shift. So as I was, wanting to grow this business and start this business that I had online, I also wanted to, do some of these other things that I was doing. And I felt so, torn in a lot of cases because I wanted to go to some of these things, but then I also wanted to work on my business. And so I only had a limited amount of time, right? Because I, had to sleep and I still had to go to my 9 to 5. I had to get rest, right? And so all these like adjustments had to happen. And I realized how important it was to say no to certain things that were distracting me. So in some cases, if it was, this event and this event and this event and this event, and they were like happening kind of, one right after the other, week after week, I realized that I was exhausted and I was tired and I wasn't able to hit the goals that I had set for myself. I had said, okay, I wanted to do this by this day. I wanted to get this, loaded onto the website, and I wanted to go, look at these things, and I wanted to adjust this, and then I would get pulled away. And so there's always distractions out there that are pulling you. And so when you know, first off, what your priority is, so what is most important to you, and this can change, right? Some on Mondays, priority number 1 for me is to do coffee chat with Danny. And then priority number 2 is an admin day for me. I work on all of my admin stuff today. But on, let's say Fridays or Saturdays, when my family is home, what do? I shift, right? And my priority then becomes my family, and my business takes a back seat, right? They don't have to be equal. And I think a lot of us think that they have to be equal. They don't have to be equal. There's times in my business where that needs to be my number 1 priority. And there's times where my life needs to be number 1 priority. And there's times where they kind of come in a little bit equal, right? It just depends on the flow of your life and the flow of your business. So when you know what your priorities are, which is why every single month I ask the lady bosses to pick one thing to focus on. My coach does that for me. And I do that. I pass that on to them, right? What is your one thing for this month? What is the one thing for this week? And what is the one thing for today? What is the one thing that I'm focusing on? When I know what my priorities are for this day, and in some cases, the priority is me. Some days it's like my priority is to take care of me, is to reclaim my time, to love myself, to take care of myself, right? Some days it's different, whatever my priority might be for that day, right? Or that week. When I know what that is, I'm able to then say no to those distractions and know that it's not coming from a bad place. It's not coming from I don't like you, right? Some people might have some judgments and some ideas about that, but that's them. That's what they're projecting, has nothing to do with me, right? Because this is what I'm valuing. I'm valuing this because this is my priority right now, right? And that can be whatever that is for you. Remember, what somebody else is doing is not what you have to do. You don't have to do that. If you don't like it, you don't have to. You can do whatever it is that you want that feels good for you, right? So say no to those distractions so that you can value your time. Because if you don't value what your priorities are and you don't value yourself, right? This is knowing that you do have value, knowing that you do have the right to do things for yourself, and you don't have to follow what everybody else is doing. You have goals that you set as your priority, right? When you have those things in alignment, you know that saying no is just simply saying no, not this time. Doesn't mean no never. Doesn't mean I'm never going to go do those things. It means I'm never going to hang out with those people, or it just means not this time. It doesn't fit into what I'm working on right now, right? Come back to me because I'll be ready in a couple months, right? So that is your motivation for the week. Value yourself, know what your priorities are, and say no to those distractions that are going to pull you away from what's most important to you, because you value your time. Time is precious. All right, everyone. So this is a love month, as I said at the very top of today's coffee chat. And what that means is every day in February, we are sharing one tip, one idea, one thought around how to strengthen the most important relationship that you have, which is to love you, right? It's to you, your relationship with yourself, being your best friend. So join us over on Instagram every single day this month as we share one tip, idea, thought for you to think about in growing that relationship. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Remember to focus on one priority for the week so that you can value what is most important to you and value your time. All right, remember to be you and to be amazing.